Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to beginning my series of reviews. Way back when I asked people to vote to sort of pick what two franchises to review in October. Because I reviewed a lot of franchises on my channel, horror movie franchises, and I actually have a horror film playlist. So I reviewed all the Friday the 13th films from the first one to the remake. Same with Halloween from the first one all the way to the remake, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. All the Hellraiser films from 1 to Revelations, the Child's Play films, I did that all in one video, as well as Curse of Chucky. All the Final Destination films in one video, all the Scream films in one video, uh, Critters, Ghoulies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre from part 1 all the way to Texas Chainsaw 3D. The list goes on and on. I've done a lot of horror movie franchises. Just go to my channel, click on the playlist, and scroll down. You'll find them there. So why not do Nightmare on Elm Street? I did it long ago with my friends, but sort of actually talk on camera about them. The Nightmare on Elm Street films. Probably I would not even probably I would say it's the first horror film franchise I got into as a kid. I didn't get into Friday the 13th till later. Same with Texas Chainsaw Massacre or Halloween. But Nightmare on Elm Street was the one I saw most when I was a kid. So a lot of these I saw over and over again repeatedly. And I know that people don't be like, oh, it takes 10 minutes to get to the actual review. It's a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. What more are you going to find out other than I think it's a classic. It's a very solid film. The only problem I have is the very ending, which is not Wes Craven's fault. It's Bob Shea. Even though without him, the film would not have been made. He wanted a Carrie-like twist, shock ending, and I just, the mom going through the window, like looking like a fucking Barbie doll, looks ridiculous. I like Wes Craven's version, where it's just the kids going down. The mom sort of looks, huh? And sees the kids jump roping, 1, 2, and then the movie ends. You're wondering, is it a dream still? Did she really defeat him? It's a question mark ending. While Bob Shea really wanted Freddy to be driving, which he got in part 2, where Freddy driving the bus, but he wanted Freddy driving the car. And Wes Craven said no. So they had a compromise where the top comes down. It's the red and green sweater on the top of the car. And I just felt that Wes Craven's version, if you look at this and you look at the features and this is the happy ending, I felt that worked better. But anyway, I'll get into, the film is a classic. One more I can say about the first film, and I'll get into it, but just want to show you, shit, my burp, and also want to show you what I have. I have the Nightmare on Elm Street box set, which you can't see, just the lighting sucks ass. But at least it says Freddy face, unlike the other box set that came out recently that has a shadow of the remake. And yes, I will review the remake, unfortunately, when I get to that, of Nightmare on Elm Street. But at least it says Robert Leland's face. Now, you see the first one looks a little bit different than the rest, which I'll get into. But if I pull them all out, we have the first one, which I'm reviewing right now. And right off the bat, I have this because it's a 2-disc, while the one that came with the set, it only had a feature of the commentary. While this does have a commentary, but also has a bunch more features, so I sold that DVD and just kept this because this is a better DVD. But this box set also has Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. I like the fact that they taped the theatrical posters on these. The only ones of these that have features is Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which it has a commentary on that one. But Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, which will be reviewed after this one. You have Part 3, definitely one of my favorites. Part 4, probably my personal favorite. Part 5, my least favorite. Well, the remake's my least favorite, but this is pretty damn close. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, which I think I actually saw this back in the day in the theater, I think. Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which this has a commentary track with Wes Craven, and I forget who else. Maybe just him. Then it came with this Nightmare series encyclopedia. I don't care about having these on Blu-ray. I really don't. I'm fine with just having the DVD. But this has actually... What you do is you put this DVD in, and you sort of go through this labyrinth of this house, and when you find stuff, you can click on it, and you'll find music videos like Dream Warriors. You'll find little interview clips from directors like Rennie Harlan, Stephen Hopkins, so on and so forth. Little bits on the making of the films. So, pretty interesting concept. Nice to have. And pretty much, I mean, with Nightmare on Elm Street, feature-wise, they've done all they can. Because you have, like, for me, I have this bonus disc, which has little snippets and stuff in it. And, oh well, I should show this. This also came with a booklet, which has a little bit of an intro with Robert Englund and Robert Shea. And it pretty much goes through each film, pretty much giving a synopsis of the film, which not really sure why, but goes through all the films. And this is part 4. Goes through each of them, all the way to Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Instructions for DVD-ROM use. Has a little bit of making of as well. Doesn't just... Has a little bit of making of as well as the synopsis. Some stuff that critics said. Which is, you know, that part's interesting. A little bit info on the making of the film. As well as for Freddy's Dead 3D glasses, which they don't fucking work because I never found the 3D in Freddy's Dead to be even decent. But, oh well. Collector's sake, why not? But fuck it. And real quick light to mention other stuff I was talking about feature-wise. Not only do you have that bonus disc, not only on the first film do you have a 2-disc, which I'll get into, but I also have, of course, I've done a review for this, Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street Legacy, the Ultimate Nightmare documentary, which, pretty damn skippy in saying that, because it's about, what, 4 hours long? And then you have a disc 2, with a shitload of bonus features. Including extended interviews, Horror's Hallowed Grounds. I forgot they did that. Freddy and Comics and Novels. A lot of interesting stuff in this. Now, there are little tidbits that I was kind of disappointed. Like, for one, I am such a hardcore fan of this one. I want to know, is that fucking piece of music anywhere without the sound effects? The piece of music, if you go to my channel and you see my intro, you know, if you call me Becky one more time, sits back, I'll go pop you top. So, the intro music, that doom, that's from this movie. That's when Alice, Lisa Wilcox, is getting ready in front of the mirror. I want to hear, where's that music? I know a little bit, it's that, a version of that is the song, Don't Be Afraid of Your Dreams. But that's the shitty version. I want the rock version. Like, did the band play that as well? Did the band... Like, That to me is a big scene in the movie, and they don't touch on it. Alice getting ready in front of the mirror. That's a scene a lot of people remember. A lot of fans remember in this film. They don't even touch on it. I don't understand that. That's one thing I was like kind of ticked off about. That's one of the big scenes of the movie, to be honest, and they don't even touch on it. They don't even mention it. And like they have a music thing on the bonus disc, the second disc. There's a few songs I'm kind of sad they didn't touch on, like that piece of music and such. But those are like little teeny nitpicks. But if you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, you need this. I mean, I would still give this an A. You know, if I did a rating, it would still be an A. You know, it's still damn good. But I also have this. If you don't know what this is Nightmare on Elm Street, the unreleased extras, which this was an online purchase. Someone made this, and it's stuff that has never been released and you're never going to see. And they did a really good job with this, because even the discs themselves have artwork. It's 4 DVD set. What you did on this? I forget who it was that I got this from. I know a good guy on here, Eric Curto. It's because of him I found out about this. So if you're watching, Eric, thank you for letting me know about the guy so I could get a copy of this. I also got a copy of Friday the 13th one, which is, I put that in my Crystal Lake Memories, which I know I still haven't seen that yet. I know I haven't had time. But that guy made not the Crystal Lake Memories, but the like a Friday the 13th unreleased extras. I heard he was doing something with Rambo or Rocky or something. I don't know if the guy's doing anything with anything else, but if someone let me know, because I really enjoy this kind of stuff. The stuff in this 4-disc set is, again, stuff you'll never find anywhere else. Alternate film trailers for Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, 4, 5, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This is disc 1. TV spots for Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1, 3, 4, 5. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1 deleted scenes. This is where I saw the deleted scenes where Nancy, Heather Langenkamp, had a brother. Her character had a brother who was killed by Freddy when he was human. I'm like, holy shit. It just added, like, oh wow, Nancy had a brother? Never heard that before, anywhere. And there's a deleted scene that they say that. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, no one ever asked Wes Craven that? Like, wait a minute, what happened to that? That Nancy had a brother. It's kind of a big deal. You know? Nightmare 1 odds and ends. Nightmare 3 alternate music, alternate TV scene. Pretty much like when Patricia Arquette wakes up, different music plays, because depending on like network, sometimes don't have the rights to use certain music. The uncut death scenes and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5. Freddy's Dead deleted scenes. The 1-900 phone number spots that you would use to call Freddy. Home video promotional spots. Robert Englund on Mad TV. Fangoria's Weekend of Horror segment. Bravo's Greatest Villains, Freddy Krueger, who was number 8. The I Love the 80s segment on Nightmare on Elm Street. Promos for the Freddy Krueger video hour on MTV. Robo Chicken's little parody on horror movie Big Brother, which had an appearance with Freddy Krueger. Samuel Goldwyn channel premiere of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Mad TV sketch of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Snuggle. Spike TV crashing the set of Freddy vs. Jason. Stephen King's This Is Horror segment on the Nightmare on Elm Street series. They had that segment from Boogeyman with Robert Englund's commentary on a scene from Nightmare on Elm Street. Boogeyman 2 Nightmare segment. The E channel's Freddy vs. Jason set visit and Scream Queen's Heather Langenkamp. That's all on disc 1. Disc 2, you have music videos from the Nightmare on Elm Street films. You have it's quite a bit of footage from behind the scenes of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, how they did the effects. Like, you're actually on set and you see how they're making the effects work. And this is Horror Effects Dream Master segment and Dream Child segments. Interesting stuff. Disc 3, you get the Freddy Krueger MTV Video Hour. This is about when Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 was coming out, and Freddy Krueger was hosting stuff on MTV. Back in the day, they did a making of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 when the film was coming out. You get that on disc 3. Wes Craven, Hollywood Nightmare. The New Tom Green Show. The New Tom Green Show, his guest of Robert Englund. VH1's Where Are They Now, Lisa Wilcox and Tuesday Night. VH1's Super Super Movie Rules Slashers. Then disc 4. Back in the day, they did a making of Freddy's Dead the Final Nightmare. You have that. Slash and Burn, the Freddy Krueger story. A Showtime special with Robert Englund hosting called Freddy Speaks. Stars on the set of Freddy vs. Jason. Monster Vision, where Joe Bob Briggs had Wes Craven as a guest. E Behind the Scenes of Freddy vs. Jason and Kelly Rowland. A lot of features that, again, unreleased, you'll never see. And again, if this guy is out there, let me know what else you're doing other than Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. Maybe we'll get a free sample. No, I'm just, but, seriously, let me know. Because I thought he did a great job with this as well as the Friday the 13th one. I thought it was really cool. Now, I know, 15 minutes in, not talking about Nightmare on Elm Street 1, but again, give me a break. It's the original. What more can I say? And you see this and this is different because this was a 2-disc. And I think if you want the first film, this is the best way to get it. This Infinite film that New Line Cinema released, which I thought they did a really good job with this set. Because you had the commentary with Wes Craven and Heather Langenkamp and such. Sorry. But you also get on the second disc, you get about a 50-minute documentary on the making of the first film. You get about 20-minute featurette on New Line Cinema and horror films in New Line Cinema about how they're the house that Freddy built. You get a little featurette, which is pointless to me, about psychology and stuff, talking about fucking real nightmares. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I don't need a nightmare history. I just want to hear about the film. You get the alternate endings. You have a Nightmare Fat Track, video clips, pop-up prompts, sort of the Infinite Film feature. Go beyond the movie, that feature that they had, which is an interesting feature. A lot of stuff, a lot of info on this. Now, how do I talk about this film that's probably been talked about forever? Nightmare on Elm Street, like I said, other than the ending, it's a total classic. It's a great idea. Wes Craven, I know he was having a hard time. He had this idea for a while. The only person who said yes was Bob Shaye. Paramount said no. A lot of studios said no. Wes Craven, after he did Last House on the Left, he did The Hills Have Eyes, but then he sort of had a bad run of luck because Deadly Blessing did nothing. Swamp Thing really hurt his career. He needed money. I'm not sure. Did he do Hills Have Eyes Part 2 before or after this? I don't remember when Hills Have Eyes Part 2, what year that came out. I don't remember. I really don't remember what year that came out. Should look it up. But I know Wes Craven was having a hard time, but he had this really good idea. And Bob Shaye, I will give him credit. Bob Shaye was the only one who said, yes, Wes, yes, we will do this. And 1985. Okay, so, well, it says 1985, then it says here 1984. So, I know Wes Craven did that just for the money. Because he didn't really have any money, so he did that for the money. I'm not sure the time frame. But I know Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 was, not 4. Nightmare on Elm Street was 1984. And just how it came about, like the ideas of how all this came about, like Wes Craven reading these stories about how people from Asia, they would die in their sleep. And there was especially a story of a guy who, he would be afraid and tell his parents, no, please, don't put me to sleep. Like, I can't sleep, otherwise I'll die. And like for a long while, the kid would stay awake. He would spit out his sleeping pills. He'd actually had a coffee pot hidden, which is what uh, Heather Langenkamp's character does in the first film. And all this time he was to tell his parents, no, I can't sleep, otherwise I'll die. Ultimately, they got a doctor, and the kid finally got to sleep. Parents went to bed, glad that their son was finally asleep. Then they hear screaming. Then they run out, and they find the kid dead. Really creepy fucking thing, man. It's like, how the hell... This happened apparently a lot. And I'm like, what the hell happened? Apparently a lot of these people were in the... They were getting away from this terrible war, and maybe some were in concentration camps or something. I don't know. But, man, that's a really creepy idea, so Wes Craven took that and ran. I think like Freddy was the name of a bully that picked on him in school. Krueger was the extension of Crude, the bad guy in Last House on the Left. Him having the hat was because there's this creepy guy that scared the shit out of him when he was a kid. Actually, to a point, the guy actually came right up to the door and stared at Wes Craven, like through the window or something. And it freaked Wes Craven out. The colors, the red and green. It's something about he read something in the magazine that those were the colors that if you saw together, your eyes would kind of fuck up, be unfocused. The finger, the glove, it's, what you don't use. You don't use a knife, you don't use a machete. And I think like he saw his cat or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, why not? I know, like, for picking Freddy, I think they wanted David Warner, which is weird. It's like, holy shit, David Warner? But then that didn't happen, and then there was talks of having a stuntman, and it's like, no, you should really have an actor. And Robert Englund comes in, and Robert Englund is Freddy. He will always be Freddy Krueger, no matter who you put on there. Billy Bob Thornton wannabe, or whatever the hell. Robert Englund is fucking Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is fucking Robert Englund. Just plain and simple. That's just how it is. That's just the way it is. And, the cast that they got, I mean, you had Johnny Depp, who was a new guy, playing Heather Langenkamp's boyfriend. Heather Langenkamp did a really great job as Nancy. John Saxon was solid as her father, who's also a cop. Ronee Blakley as her mother. Just everybody did such a great job with this film. It's such a really cool idea. I mean, that's what I like about the Nightmare on Elm Street films, is that you have such a imagination that you can really go out and be creative with. Because it's a dream. You can do anything in a dream. And so that lets your imagination on fire on what you can and can't do. So it's like, holy shit, what can we do? What can we, how can we really push it? What imaginative stuff can we do? And you have like the opening where you think Amanda Wyss is going to be the lead, and it's not the case. She's being chased by Freddy. You have this weird stuff. You even have like a sheep or a lamb come out of nowhere. And even the look of Freddy was really well done. Him being horribly burnt, having this sick sense of humor, giving him really good lines of dialogue. When she says, "Oh God," he's like, "This is God." Or like you see him running after her, and then there's Freddy popping out, and he can do that because it's a dream. Or her struggling, taking the face off, and the face comes off, and it's like a really funky looking skull. It's just laughing at her. Cutting off his fingers and let the green blood fly just to fuck with her. And, she wakes up, but then she has, like, scratches or slashes on her nightgown. And it's not like I ever bought into thinking Amanda Wyss was going to be the lead, because it's like, maybe it's like me and a lot of the people. We all knew right off the bat that Heather Langenkamp was the lead, but I thought it still worked for its story. And Heather Langenkamp was great about her was that I thought she did a really good job. She had a natural look to her. She had natural presence. She was likable. She had emotion. She wasn't a dead fuck like the girl in the remake who's had so much fucking no-dos. Fucking desk that his fucking computer's on has more emotion than that fucking bullshit in the remake. But sorry. But Heather Langenkamp was likable and she was strong, and her boyfriend Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp does fine in his early role. Nick Corey does well as the boyfriend of Tina, Amanda Wyss. They all mention about how they all have bad dreams. Uh, I like this moment with Johnny Depp where he hears that Amanda Wyss and uh, Rod, Nick Corey, are having sex. And of course, Johnny Depp didn't get any poontang pie. So he rolls over and he's like, this sucks. You can relate to the guy. And it's one of those things that, yeah, that really horrific murder. Can you imagine what the boyfriend feels about how, there's a guy underneath with your girl and you can't see him, but you see her being dragged on top to the ceiling. And the way they did that in real life, how they had the room that tilted, is really imaginative. That's what I'm talking about. They really had to think about things on a small budget. It's like later on, you have that figure that comes out of the wall over Nancy's figure as she's sleeping. And it's just like, I forget exactly how they did it, but they just put something there and someone just presses their face against it. But no, in the remake, they had to put CGI and it sucked. It looked like shit. But yet here, it cost probably 10 cents and it looks better. And just has so many memorable scenes. I mean, I'm your boyfriend now, and the tongue coming out of the phone and scaring the shit out of Nancy. Or uh, you have the scene where she's in the bathtub and the glove comes out slowly and disappears and then pulls her out and she gets out of there. Her finding out about Freddy Krueger, about how he killed kids back in the day, and he's dealing like her dad is a he's a cop, but her mom and dad are not really kind of on the skirts, and her mom is a drunk, and it gets to a point where she even bars the window so Nancy can't leave, so she becomes a prisoner of her own home. Yeah, the scene where she falls asleep in school and she sees Tina in the body bag and it being dragged away and she runs. You have that crazy looking bitch, no running in the hallways, has the Freddy glove. Going to the school and going down and find out, hey, there's a way to get out of the dream. She can burn herself and it wakes herself up. There's the thing where he goes to the clinic, the psychiatric help, and you have, actually, get this guy's name, the voice of Roger Rabbit himself, Charlie Fleischer. And he's not in the film that much, you realize. He's in it for like 2 scenes or so. But it's weird, like, he's only in like 2 or so scenes, but you see him sometimes at conventions where they have like the cast, including him. I'm like, you were in 2 scenes. But, I guess because it's the voice of Roger Rabbit. But, Nancy hearing about the story, and it's a great backstory as well about how this guy killed kids and the parents. Freddy got out of a technicality, and the parents were pissed, so they took the man in their own hands and murdered the fucker, burned him. At the psychiatrist, she being scared. You don't see in the dream, you just see from Charles Fleischer and Ronee Blakley's point of view, and they wake her up, and she was able to pull Freddy Krueger's fedora from her dream. So it's like, wow, you can actually pull something from your dream. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of imaginative ideas, a lot of interesting ideas. And, we all have to fall asleep sometime or later, so it's not like you can just run away. And it's just so many things. I mean, Robert Englund's portrayal, The voice and the look, the score by Charles Bernstein, great score. The da 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 da. Great theme, and the rest of the score works too. It's a very dark, very creepy, scary film. Just the opening where he's making the glove, and you see him making the glove, and it flexes, and there's like, down. There's the score. Do, 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 do. Even the nursery, like, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, with the kids, doing fucking jump rope and shit. I guess, those poor kids, they had jump rope for all eternity, I guess. Because every time you see them, they're jumping rope. I'm like, fuck, if you were alive, you'd be like fit as a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, at least back in the day. Fucking everything just worked well. And it's not really a big body count. It didn't need to be. I mean, Tina gets killed, and really, stomach getting fucked up, scratched up, cut up. The Nick Corey, he's been put in jail, accused of murder, and this bed sheet just wraps around him and hangs him. And then she goes under. I like the fact that there's a point where she's actually watching The Evil Dead, which is interesting. And I remember when I saw Nightmare on Elm Street, I always kept wondering, what the hell is that thing on TV? I never knew what it was. Like, what's that thing on TV? Some guy that turns around is like a weird angle, and then you have these things flopping. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then, like, it was probably years and years later when I finally watched The Evil Dead and that scene popped up. Like, holy shit, that's what was in Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what it was. Oh, shit. It was The Evil Dead. Okay. I didn't know that. Okay, then. Fucking, oh, shit, that's what it was. Holy shit. By the way, also it's like, you stay awake, and I'm gonna grab the fucker, we're gonna get the fucker. Also, the fact that she's reading this book about booby traps and stuff. And, like, remember the lines of dialogue, like, whatever you do, don't fall asleep. That's what Johnny Depp does. And actually, if you listen, the radio he's listening to is KRGR, also known as Krueger Radio. And, of course, that's a famous scene. He gets pulled under, and this humongous geyser of blood just fills the ceiling. And John Saxon, he's not in the film too much, but when he's there, he works well. Nancy going under, shows how brave she is. She got good emotion to it. Being chased by Freddy, I mean, the scene on the staircase, and it's like almost like quicksand. Fighting Freddy, get him into the real world. Her mom pretty much being killed. Well, you see, that's a little bit later on. Because I just like the fact that she has all these fucking booby traps and has this big hammer that knocks the shit out of them. Has stuff that fucks them up, like a tripwire, blows up. Gets down to the basement, lights his ass on fire, really good body burn. Fucks him up. She finally gets John Saxon's attention, but then it's on pretty much Freddy on fire has killed her mom, which is pretty horrific when you think about it. A burning Freddy's on top of her mom, and the mom, I guess, just disappears because there's a bunch of shit, and then it's just the bed left. I'm like, what happened to Ronee Blakley's body? Holy shit. And then you have this ending, which, when, in context of the rest of the series, I mean, I guess it kind of made sense, but then it kind of makes you think. It's a good idea where she goes, I take back whatever power I gave you. You're nothing. I'm not afraid of you. Which actually they touched on Freddy vs. Jason, where, no one believes in me. How can I do anything if they're not afraid of me, if they don't believe in me? So they touch on that in Freddy vs. Jason. But that whole thing of, Freddy sort of, I don't know if you say dies, disappears because he didn't give her, she didn't give him any power. And then that's why I will thought the ending that Wes Craven wanted would have been better. But Bob Shea wanted a Terry-like ending, also as ending hopefully for a sequel, and they got it. But I just thought it wasn't needed, and the mom being pulled into the fucking door just looked ridiculous, like a fucking Barbie doll. And for a while, I would watch this movie and not listen to the end credits, so I didn't know that there was a fucking song at the end credits. I already forgot what the hell the song was, but I'm like, there's a fucking song at the end credits called, isn't it just called Nightmare or something like that? I didn't even, for the longest time, I didn't fucking know. I'm like, really? Holy shit, I didn't even realize that. But, I mean, one more can I say about Nightmare on Elm Street that hasn't been said. It's classic. Cast works well. Freddy Krueger is a great icon. It's a wonderful idea. It's an original idea. You have imagination. You have good lines of dialogue. You have usage of the low budget very well done. The special effects worked well. The story worked well. The cast works well. Heather Langenkamp's Nancy is a great character. You also have a great villain. Charles Bernstein did a bang-up job on the score. Very creepy score. Memorable theme. Interesting ideas. Good deaths. I mean, Tina's death is pretty graphic. Johnny Depp's death is very memorable. It just goes to show you don't need a big body count. You just need some imagination, some good storytelling, and good cast. I mean, Robert Englund worked well. John Saxon was good. It was one of those films like, what more can you say about Nightmare on Elm Street? Well, it's a classic. So thanks for watching. Take care. And next time I will talk about the very much hated Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.